Preparing. Okay, got it. We're in. Yeah. You lagged so long, dude. You voided our thing.
Sorry, man.
Dude. All right, wait. I gotta turn the camera on, dude, huh? I'm gonna get some make sure I got some chat going. Chat going. All right. I got my hair right. You don't even have to worry about Harry. Okay, got it. We're in. Whoa. We're gonna get a feedback. You lagged so long, dude. All right, we're in. We'll let everyone get here for a minute. I can see the chat. Let me put this out there.
I didn't realize how cheesy my jacket is.
Are you? It's so epic. Like
I'm
gonna wear a dinner jacket, dude.
It's so hilarious. I didn't realize it.
Well, I always knew you'd come out of the closet.
Hamish, it is good to see you tonight. I don't mind my Fabish jacket, right?
You're promo.
Call me Fabi Bob.
Yeah. All right. The chat is jumping. Jeanette, dude. Well, let's go on. Jeanette, we have a new baby on Spaceship Earth. Jeanette and Andrew have had their little Ozzy Willow. We'll start out all vanilla. Have you been catching the Rad Rat 900 Club controversy?
No.
Do you ever watch Rad Rat's skate channel?
That's so weird that you had said that, because I did send a link to the goofy footed one he made about goofy footers today. It's like a Rad Rat, the guy with the glasses.
Rad Rat, dude. The
cool guy. I like him.
I love Rad Rat, dude. So apparently Rad Rat, I just watched it, and Kelly Hart was talking smack down to him with Chris Haslam, dude, on the 9 Club, dude, right?
About Rad
Rat, dude, on the 9 Club. And it was all
Kelly
about
Hart's kind of a kook anyways, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, but that's the irony is because we see through so Rad Rat is like an original. The dude's been doing it forever. It's forever. He's making
genuine.
He's the real deal. He's what YouTube's all about. A dude who does his thing, stuck with the game. And who is the 9 Club but corporate skateboarding glossed over? So it's funny. My wife was listening to Rad Rat at first, and she's like, "Oh, he's kind of whining." I go, "No, he's not whining. Check this out. Rad Rat, check a Rad Rat setup and look at the 9 Club setup and go, these dudes are punching down on this guy." And she's like, "Wow." And I go, "Yeah, they're everything that we're against in the skateboarding world is these corporate goons, because what is the 9 Club except the biggest bunch of nerd of analyzing people's camera angles and pressure. And then they're going to talk smack about Rad Rat nerding out on Chris Haslam, like the ultimate like skater nerd, dude. Like Haslam's like the techiest tech of techs. So I watched the thing and I was coming in here to get set up and I was reading. I was like, let me see what the comments are on Rad Rat. And dude, top of it pinned was like Chris Haslam got a hold of him and was like fully apologized for the dust up. And I was like, you know what? I always knew Haslam was a solid. I always figured that dude was pretty solid. Yeah. So he earned my respect by getting a hold of Rad Rat and being like, hey, look, dude, like, so I'm on Rad Rat's side, dude.
Yeah, me too.
But check out Rad Rat's channel, dude. We should get Rad Rat on
I'm
here.
very familiar. Like I said, I shared he did a bit on Goofy Footers. And so I was I sent it to a family.
Family of Goofy Footers?
Kid who's a Goofy Footer, because sometimes kids feel insecure that they're goofy footed. Like, I'm not goofy. What do you mean? And then So Rad Rat, he explains that off the bat. He's like, it doesn't mean you're goofy. It means, and he goes into the whole history.
Well, see, I view it the other way. I view everybody else as irregular footed, dude. I'm regular foot. Like, that's how I skate.
Yeah, I'm regular. I'm really regular.
No, you're not. I'm really regular. You're irregular footed, dude.
I stand with my left foot forward.
I skate with my right foot forward, which makes it right. See,
left, right, left.
See, you're a lefty, dude. It's all about it's you're looking for inclusiveness by excluding, dude, which is where you're coming from. And me, I just know that I'm better. You skate better, but my foot placement is.
He's got a better delivery though, I think, than I do. That's fine.
So what I thought it was funny because I think it illustrated everything that we've kind of been about on this channel. Is Rad Rat was the pioneer of skating over analyzation, right? Like way back, he was doing what those dudes were doing, but they didn't, and they got to be essentially Southern California skate dudes who have taken over the nerding of skateboarding that Rad Rat established long ago, and then they shit on him. Like, dude.
Yeah, I don't
like that. Ain't cool.
I don't want to. Anyways,
I mean, we don't have to talk smack about those dudes. We just got to go Rad Rat.
Yeah, Rad Rat's a rad guy. That's why it's in the name. It's right there.
Well, it's funny. It's a lot of people heard that thing I was saying about how, like, I noticed that the rebels at the skate park were the scooter kids, dude. And people were like, started looking at the scooter kids at their skate park. I got to talk to some other people. They're like, after you're seeing that, hearing that, I looked at my scooter kids at the skate park, and you were right. They're the oddballs, dude. Like, and they're fully committed to their oddball. And I was like, yeah, that's right. So, all right, that takes care of Rad Rat. But we're going to go right. I wanted to go right from Rad Rat to Dwayne Peters' dumpster fire of Tony
I like what Dwayne is doing.
I love what Dwayne's doing, dude.
I don't think it's great.
For those of you who don't know, go to Dwayne Peters.
Sorry.
Go to Dwayne Peters' Instagram feed, and you will see he starts off where we left off with the whole Tony Hawk thing and just goes full. Calls it all out in a bold way, dude. And
I mean, once you see it, you can't ever unsee that, and it just compounds and gets worse and worse as time goes on. So you're saying hustling skateboards for Christ is not cool. Cool. Well, I mean, I think it's more than just that, but yeah, no, I know what you mean by that, but I think it's what it is. It's really worshiping of Tony, because all these guys on over Tony, Hawk. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening.
Oh, I was there was something where his new skateboard has the broken gun, so he's come out as he is showing his true globalist. That did you see?
No, well, that was the Skatistan logo, by the way. The original was the broken gun.
Oh, was it? He was doing something.
No one wants to disagree with any skateboarders, so everyone has to be friendly, and no one wants any enemies, and it's a very.
You mean it's like the locker room on being on the football team in the locker room?
Just a lot of butt spanking.
You're really like, I thought skateboarding
Good
was
job out there, buddy. Whoosh.
I thought skateboarding was about being authentic in yourself. No? Really? Huh. Damn. I'm gonna have to restructure my vibe. comply.
Sorry, man. I don't know what scene you came out of, but that's really not what it's about.
Damn. I really thought it was this individuality thing, like me, my skateboard, and the train. No, it's about fitting in.
Well, it depends on what you mean by it, authentic. You know, that also has been hijacked by another demographic, which I don't want to get your channel flagged.
Don't get us flagged, dude. I'm interviewing the homeschoolers tomorrow, dude. Don't get us flagged. Dude.
Joking.
Oh, dude, it's been a whirlwind out here, Jordan. Let me tell you, dude. We're doing our big campaign at the city hall tomorrow, dude. See if we can get this done. Get people fired up in the dream, for sure.
You're the man to do it, man.
We're trying, dude. It's interesting though. And I was talking to you about this the other day, but it was funny. Like I was talking to this dude that I'm doing this with, one of the people, and he's kind of like, he does the school board stuff. So, and I do city council, and then there's all the moms who are just trying to literally like, it's, you know what it is? It's remember, do you ever see that movie, The Magnificent Seven?
No.
Ah, darn. So it's sort of like a scene like this. We're me and this dude, he does school board stuff. I do city council stuff. All these parents that are suddenly like, oh my God, they're gonna experiment on our children. And they're literally like desperate, like the desperate peasants in one of those buildings, like looking for like a shovel or anything to wave at the thing. So we're trying to turn this ragtag group of concerned parents into some sort of force, dude, which to be reckoned with. Why is Travis Scott on the title? You're gonna find out, dude. You're gonna find out, dude. We're gonna dig because well, that was why we wanted to go there, Jordan. Give us a little, like, so we were talking a little bit about technology and how are you comfortable talking about the infiltration of technology in your world on the youth? Or I know you've been having some technology.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we squelched that right away, but I'm totally well, I should say we are making a concerted effort to minimize all electronics in the house. I mean, I'm still heavily addicted, but you know,
you're staring into one right now.
Yeah, but my kids, you know, they're not ready to be addicted.
Well, you're an adult, so that's funny. I talk about that thing because the children are minds.
I'm cool with talking about it. Go ahead, though. Sorry.
No, the kids' minds develop totally differently. Like as an adult, like our neural network's sort of set, and we can retune it a lot easier than a kid who's getting it essentially set for its into the future, where they might not find the tools to reset their calibrations. So what's going on? You have a 13-year-old son.
Well, I have a 12-year-old who was
12-year-old.
You know, he went off to visit his mom for a little bit, and he has cousins, and they're in Atlanta. And Atlanta is probably one of the worst places to send your kid for an extended amount of time.
Atlanta,
just because of the you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and all that trap junk and all the disgusting things. So it's, you know, they pick up things, and my kid's a good kid, so he gets when he's doing something wrong. But it just reminded me, like, it's very different than how when we were kids. Very different. People will say, well, you know, we used to laugh at people and they say, well, remember when we were kids? And we kind of scoff at the old timers for that cliche or whatever. Remember when we were kids? Or they don't. So anyways, it was very different back then because there was no, the level of desensitization of the media now is so high that literally a kid can lose his belief in God in literally less than 5 minutes. Like that's how gnarly it is. As far
Yeah.
as resetting your ideology, resetting your belief system. And that's why I was so tough on Tony, because I saw that if you bring millions of people, millions of little impressionable children over to look at some pregnant man who's giving birth and taking you on his journey of pregnancy, it's the inversion that you can hardly ever come back from. And so in relation to my own kids, like that's my 12-year-old, there's a couple of things as far as the music, but then just in general, the usage of the technology, YouTube in general, I think has just become there's something going on there, and I don't want to go on a tangent.
Well,
but
we're sort of Gen, like if Facebook is for the boomers and Gen X is, I would say YouTube's a Gen X platform. We're not even into what's going on with TikTok, because my daughter, who's 16, she barely messes with YouTube anymore. She uses YouTube more as like, she uses YouTube like we would have used a television back in the day to watch like regularly scheduled programming. Yeah. So where she gets all her stuff is TikTok. TikTok is where the like YouTube's like done on that weird level. Like they scrubbed all the weirdness from it. It's all, even doing I was trying to dig into this for the some Travis Scott stuff.
Yeah, you can't find anything on it.
No, YouTube scrubbed it all, which is very interesting. It's all over in other platforms. And so on that note, because what a lot of people will do, especially when we start talking about this, is like, oh, well, when you guys, what's the difference now? And I'll own it. I'll go, when I was 16, right? What was one of the great influences of my life was Spicoli, was that stoner thing, right? So I was, as a young person, setting up identity as a surfer, skater, that life in 1985, 86, in that era. What plugged right in there was Spicoli. Spicoli was an icon of the subculture of this character. So when people blow off this sort of stuff, I think they're doing a big disservice to their own, not looking back in the lenses. Not like that formidable years of 16 Spicoli, like it's still with me, dude. Like I can't ever escape it. And that was implanted by the industry. You look at who Sean Penn is, you look at that, what that movie's really about on a level. Yeah, it's pretty innocuous, but it's also like inserted like that preemptive, like stoner, dumbed down thing, which was sort of cool, hip, and happening, which I can accredit to being like part of the matrix of stuff that turned me into like a stoner, which I didn't stop being a stoner till I was 39. So from 16, let's say 16 ballpark, 15 to 39, I pick up with that culture and I ride it all the way. So remove the lens forward now is like, okay, they're not like, Spicoli was pretty benign. You can go, oh, well, they were doing Ozzy and this and that, but I was a new waiver. So it was Depeche Mode and Spicoli was my life. Right. And you look at that thing as one left, one stayed. You look at we didn't grow up at the time of, I don't know about you, they weren't handing out pharmaceuticals for kids like me. No one tried to give me Ritalin. It wasn't even on the thing, right? So here we are, 2000. What year is it, dude? 21, right? Kids are not only bombarded with this technology, but they're also heavily like dosed with these drugs. And it's not so easy, is it?
No. And fortunately, like we don't put anything in our kids as far as, that's concerned, but seeing that the kids are being raised on this, on the Ritalin and all, and they're just being antidepressants, and that's like those segment of the population that has a very strong reliance upon the medical experts have slowly, they wound up having kids, and they graduated with honors to the world of brainwashing. So anything that comes their way, they're going to take it on, and they're going to give their kids it. And so it's crazy because it's like all the above. So it's like whether it's the mask or the glove. I was noticing a trend now where I see more children now. I had a friend of mine visit me today, and this is someone I thought that was very astute to what's going on. He didn't have any mask, but his two little kids.
I've noticed that too. I've noticed that
And
driving
it's
around
like
LA.
this weird inversion,
Yeah.
like this double flipper that happened, where like they never mentioned the kids, almost in a way, but that was what people did because I don't know, was it? And I think the kids themselves took a liking to it because it allows them to hide, socially. Put a mask on, be a superhero. Sometimes I wonder if all that pre-programming was a setup for what we have now.
Well, I've noticed that too. You bring it up, and that's something I have really wrapped my, like, truly put a thumbtack on the board. But it stood out to me enough because I lived like 2 blocks from an elementary school, and I've driven by it like times, me and Al going to do stuff, and I've noticed that too. Adults, no mask, all their young children masked up, dude. And I'm like, what is that? And it seems to be pretty prevalent. Like I saw it at the park the other day too.
It happened very quick too. It happened extremely quick. And then you have the whole 5 to 11-year-old sauce mandate or whatever, we're making it easy for you to have access. And it's like, and they show the kids smiling and it's the
Sesame Street's crazy. What I noticed that more people picked up on the Sesame Street thing and not the utter blatant racism of it. Like I was surprised that got through the woke culture thing, because that whole thing with the Xena or whatever and Abuelita, and the thing is the accent is so like,
what is that? I didn't know.
Oh, you haven't seen the Sesame Street take your vaccine with Big Bird stuff
with
with
VR
Gupta and stuff?
Virtual reality goggles?
No, it's like a CNN thing. They got Sanjay Gupta, some other chick from CNN, Big Bird, some Spanish Muppet, like a Muppet, and they're talking about like getting her first shot and the whole thing. But they're Latin Muppets with Big Bird and the whole thing. But everyone's like about like, oh my God, they can't believe they're using the Muppets to pump childhood sauce. But what I moved right past that and was like, I can't believe they're getting by with this racial stereotyping, accenting thing. It's super it would be like me right now doing
like an Indian and speaking.
Trying to talk like Spanish. Talk some tacos, Holmes. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's coming from the little girl like Abuelita, and it's very sick.
Yeah.
But it gets a pass because it's pushing the sauce. And I think that we're, one of the things I think one of the reasons we started doing this whole riding the skaterix things is 2 dads raising children in this crazy time and trying to get past the programming and expose it for the fraud it is, or the I don't know if it's fraud because it's doing exactly what it claims to be doing for its destructive nature into the abyss, right? To sell your soul for rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
And so we were for you out there watching, we're going to get into the Travis Scott stuff because it's the perfect lens of everything we've been talking about on this thing when we started doing Nas X and Tony Hawk and the NGOs and the world stuff. And do you have any stuff? I got some stuff set up for this.
I got some stuff, but they're more just like interesting finds for me. I mean, little
Okay.
tidbits.
All right. So for me, I just want to get this up. So up until last night, I'd never heard of Travis Scott. I could care less, dude. I don't like that auto-tune music and the whole thing, right? And the only reason I found out anything was going on was someone posted up a clip on Instagram of that. It's that Corey guy that I like to follow. He's usually about like the school boards and stuff, but he posted this up and I was like shocked watching the footage, right? So here, let me put that on right here. Wait, share screen. So this is my exposure. This is the first I get of, and we can't play the music. The music's kind of key to this whole thing, but we will get copyrighted. So we're not going to do that. Where did it go, dude? Where did it go? All right. So this is my first exposure to what's going on, dude, right? I see this thing. Why is it doing that, dude? What's going on here? Wait, hold on, people. There we go. Wait, let's do that again. We'll figure this out one of these days.
You got 2 new followers. That's awesome.
That's enough. It's like it's sickness.
I'm always looking.
Dude.
That's what's important right now. Getting as many followers as you can.
There you go. All right. So this is the Travis Scott stuff, right? And I noticed this right off back. So I'm going to be like, I'm a studier of live events and music and all that stuff. So I see this. This is my first footage of this. I have no idea who Travis Scott is. I just see this. There's bodies being carried out. I don't have no idea people have died. I know nothing about it, right? I see this. I'm listening to the music. And then they pan up and I'm like, what the heck? This is satanic ritualistic stuff. I don't know anything else at this point. And my intuition goes, this is bad news, right? And watch, when they pan up from this, you're like, oh boy, dude, what is going on with this dude? So I go down the bunny. So that right there, this right there, look at that right there is where I go, what is going on? He's in it, dude. He sees it. So.
Well, the interesting thing is he was on that perch, on that elevated perch for when these bodies started falling out. He was on the perch.
Oh, dude, he's on the perch. He's overlooking the thing. And so that you've got this concert going on. So I went down the bunny hole to Travis Scott, right? And I went to check out because the music that's playing is this 90210 song, which is perfectly. So when that kid's croaking right there, 90210 is the song. So I'm curious. I go, let me go pull up this 90210 song. And I will tell you, dude, it is one of the best satanically choreographed, organized musical pieces ever put out to capture souls. And again, I can appreciate it as a psychedelic warrior, a concert goer, a musical aficionado, whatever you want to call it. When I got into the thing was I go, let's throw in serotonin uptake inhibitors. Let's throw in all these drugs, Molly, all this other stuff. Let's put this music through the lens of a kid on Adderall or whatever antidepressants he may or may not be taking. Because again, going back to when I dug into what was going on in LA Unified School District earlier this year, there's an immense amount of like the percentage of kids on these drugs is like 2/3 in LA County, right? Largest school district in North America. So I went and checked out this dude's music. And I'll tell you, dude, like it's that 90210 video and the music is so gnarly, dude. As a dude, like it's catchy, it's super like, whoa, but it's got this trippy sound. It literally is, this is what it is. It's the door thing. It's this. Wait, mine's not set up. It came off. Wait, hold up. There's a sound in the background, right? There's that sound in the background of the thing, and you catch it right when it's transitioning from the auto-tune voice into the piano stuff, when the tree starts to grow out of the video, right? That sound is super demonic, tied into frequencies. And you sent the clip about the frequency chick, right? And I'm gonna kick it over to you. I'm just gonna put this up because so what I did next on the thing is I went to what was going. I was like, let me check out the stage setup. And that's when I was like, come on, dude, like what is going on, dude? So that's the stage, dude. Like, does anyone see it or am I crazy? Like, what is that? Oh, it's hell. It literally is hell. So this dude's whole thing was hell. And we'll go back to that. But I went to the website, right, to see what the logo, the concert art was, or the promotional art was, which is, where is it? I like that too. The entrance to the thing as you walk down his throat. Like everything about this is sick. There's the ad. This is the website for Astro World. Look at that symbolism right there, Jordan.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's a portal of people who are obviously they walk through the door, they catch fire.
Yeah.
You know, at the top, and it even says fire just to make it clear. And the hands, you know, that grab you are, you know, when you're looking at the spectacle, it's grabbing and pulling you in.
Oh, it says over here, right here, open your eyes to a whole new universe.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting.
See you on the other side, it says.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on with this guy, man. You know, I think obviously he's Kylie Jenner's boyfriend.
Sure, of course.
And Kylie was doing some pretty weird pictures of her drenched in blood recently on her Instagram.
Really?
Just bathing in blood.
That's nice.
And what I found to be the most interesting, because what I do is I immediately go to the manager. I want to know who's managing Travis Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And there's this guy who, his name is David Stromberg.
Are you pulling him up? Do you want me to pull this one down?
You could put him up yourself if you want.
No, you're in charge of the screen now.
Oh, okay. Well, and yeah, so this guy, David, can you see my screen?
Yep, got your screen.
This is the guy, David Stromberg. The weirdest thing is that David doesn't have any links that give you really any information about him. And even more so, he put his Instagram account private.
Sure.
And he doesn't have anything aside from his LinkedIn where you could actually see, you know, click on. Even his Wikipedia. I was digging into this guy for a while because I want to know, like,
really? Oh, so you can't pull up anything on this guy?
No. So if you go to Wikipedia, for example, which you know is the I was looking up goofy and regular footed. Wikipedia would say David Stromberg. We know where you're from, David. So what I thought was interesting, though, is that he, again, right here, you see, there's no link.
Interesting.
You know, Travis, Kylie, and, you know, all these people are linked. He's the producer, whatever, manager, and he's nowhere to be found at all, like no information at all. And I thought that was interesting. So I don't have anything more than that. I just thought it was interesting.
Well, that is odd.
Yeah, but that's him, you know, and he's the mastermind, okay, behind the artistry. When you talk about this satanic value of what is being written and what is being put together, well, this guy here is the guy, you know, along with some of the other writers. Now they outsource their stuff to a writing company, allegedly, at least they say they do, to this, I have made some notes on it, to Warner Chappell, which is a songwriting company, allegedly. I mean, it is, but I don't know if they're the ones that actually, if they're all whacked out. But so I don't know. I look at the manager and I look at who's writing his songs, and I just thought that was interesting. That it's really not. There's really nothing to be found about his management.
Well, so you've got a situation, right, where this dude's running this Travis Scott Astro World event is marketed as him recreating Astro World, which was an amusement park, right, oriented towards children on its baseline theme. The whole thing, again, is where you and I have been going off on this stuff, is this stuff's oriented towards children, essentially young people. You look at the fact that how does a 13-year-old die at this thing? You hear reports of people that a 10-year-old was in the hospital, people lifting children up above their heads to get them out of this thing. You realize
why is that, though? I mean, what is the big thing he did? He did Fortnite. He did the Fortnite.
Yeah.
He did this guy. Sorry to cut you off, but this guy David Stromberg, he did the Fortnite contract that basically put all those stupid dances, those stupid dances that kids are doing. That's all Travis Scott.
Sure.
All those dumb Fortnite dances.
Well, you look at, I mean, I think where it's all jumped the record is the demonic stuff isn't, I think on a certain level, it used to be subversive to show you the way, right? Remember the big thing with when Ozzy Suicide Solution, right? They made a big deal about Ozzy Suicide Solution. The kid tried to blow his head off and they were trying to blame it. Ozzy was like, no, dude, the song's not, it's the exact opposite of that. You look at a lot of like the Marilyn Manson stuff, it's trying to show you the opposite through them. It's trying to hide the opposite. This is straight up the flipping of the script. So you go look at, so I went into Travis Scott's music. And again, you went managerial. I went, let me just check out what this dude's making. And I'll tell you what, you go look at his song called.
I handed it back to you.
Oh, you handed it back to me. I'm back. You go look at a song of his called. All right. So people are like, whatever. Part of why is this important? Because up until 2 nights ago, no one's talking about this dude except for kids. They know who he is. That's a youth culture thing. Now, all of a sudden, as of a night ago, you got a 52-year-old dude in there checking this dude's out, digging around, right? We're making a video about him. It's up to the forefront of consciousness. We're bringing it up to dispel the myth, but that's not what's really going on here. This, again, I think people misunderstand when you go, this was a ritualistic satanic sacrifice. let me just be clear so that we can, when we talk about it, we have their imagery up and we can see their imagery. This is their set. This is what's going on. And this isn't the one, like there's another clip I have where on top of the mountain, that's the set, there's an actual flying demon dragon, like flapping its wings on fire. So the whole set set up to be hell, essentially, right? And if you look at what's in the back where it's a vortex, dude. It's again, it's CERN, it's all of these things.
That's what I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah, this is CERN, dude. This is Apollon. They're opening up the portals to hell again, right? So you get into this thing, and again, if you go back, I gotta find it. He does a song called. So again, I'm gonna go throw a bone and go, dude. The production of what he's producing is so the best of Hollywood. Or the industry is making this stuff, right?
Absolutely. So he's been selected for sure.
Yes, he's been selected. So he does a song called "Stop Trying to Be God," right? So you go go check out the video for "Stop Trying to Be God," and it is literally like him flying around on a demon dragon, burning this LA down with a black Jesus shooting laser beams, melting his head, and the whole thing. He also does another song called Rich Homie Quan, which is so dark, like as dark as it gets. And then his 90210, which again is deliberately highlighting Beverly Hills.
I think there's no doubt about it that the production value itself has so much thought and so much effort has been put into it that each video is in and of itself a sort of a tractor beam towards Satan. I mean, I think it's pulling people towards evil.
That's what I'm getting at. It's not even subtle. See, it's sort of what I used to trip over out about Grand Theft Auto, right? So when I played Grand Theft Auto back 1 or 2, San Andreas was the last one I played. Like, right, I went and smoked did the Grand Theft Auto till my thumbs swelled up, the whole thing, right? I'm an adult. I'm a full-grown adult, like, and I know the difference between reality, non-reality, the whole thing, whatever. That was inserted again for a youth market. And a deliberate like psyop onto the youthful mind, and people are like, oh, it doesn't matter if it gets one kid to go do that, and we've seen it, like the whole level, like that's what last summer was, right? Was Grand Theft Auto essentially, dude, on the dark thing. So look at this. This is you're literally. The contract is right there when you're entering the thing. I'm going to walk into this dude who has made his music satanic. It's obvious, but people don't care. But wait a minute. Let's listen to a report from the field. Where is it, dude? Where is it? I gotta find it. I better have it, dude. The guy had it all queued up, dude. Let's see if I can pull this off. Nope. Where is it? I had the good one. Where is it, dude? Come on. All right. Let's listen to this girl recounting what it is. Everyone buckle up. It's a couple minutes. Oh, damn it. Why am I getting... Oh, wait. Hold on.
I've never experienced... I'm coming on here to talk about my experience at Astrofest. It is extremely traumatizing. I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. Probably because I've never been surrounded by so many lifeless bodies. I haven't been able to stop thinking about what was happening all around me. It was so demonic. The energy was so demonic. The set was demonic. Travis was demonic. we were literally in hell. Like, I felt like we were in hell. Nobody could breathe. We were all suffocating. Everybody around me was suffocating. We were sitting on our tiptoes, and all you see is everyone around you, chins up, gasping for air, and that's all you see around you. There was no room for mosh pits. There was no room to breathe. We couldn't even breathe. We didn't even have enough room. Like, I'm sore. Like this hurts to take a deep breath today. Like, we couldn't even breathe in there because everyone's bodies were literally suffocating us so bad that people were bleeding out of their mouths and their nose. People were screaming bloody murder, literally begging for help from anybody. There's nothing that anybody could do. The floors were covered in bodies. You're doing your very best. We're fighting for our fucking lives. We're doing our very best to stay up. You couldn't even put your foot on the ground. You're stepping over other people. You're stepping over other people's shoes, just trying to fucking breathe. I'm surrounded by unconscious bodies. I don't even know if these people were alive. There's just people all around you, their eyes rolled in the back of their heads, just being moved with the crowds. There was nowhere we could go. We were trying to push back. We were trying to push back to get out. And we're just getting pushed forward. We're just getting pushed deeper into the crowd. There's sinkholes of people in the crowds all around me. Like, if I would have hit the floor, I would have never gotten up. You can see like adults holding their children up, like trying to get them to safety. There's kids like pissing and shitting themselves as a trauma response. It took us 30 minutes to get out of the crowd, and we were in the back. As we finally get out, you just see people running out, bawling, lips blue. There's people, they're dragging dead bodies out of the crowd. Dead bodies. And Travis knew. Travis had a bird's eye view on everybody and could see everything. He was asked multiple times to stop, and his responses are, you know what you were here for, something like that, and let's rage.
I mean, it's...
You know what you're here for, let's rage.
Well, again, as I think what people weren't, I don't think that, like, me personally, like, I'm sitting here trying to like condemn it. I think what we're getting is divine intervention, right? That would be God sending a clear signal through these other people who are obviously demonic, deliberately doing this. Going, look, these are the reports from this temporary hell state. Like that, like, I don't know about you, but man, that gal just came back from a temporary experience of what hell may or may not look like. And if that isn't the gnashing of the teeth, the whole thing right there, like, and these children showed up. People brought their children to this. It's insanity. And again, is the symbolism of it being in Texas as the hordes approach the border, and the whole thing is this. I will suggest right now, I'm going to put this was again a ritualistic satanic death sacrifice on live stage, because they're bringing in the new psyop, right? Like the whole thing with Kobe brought in the Koof in 2020, right? Like the helicopter crash in the hill, ritualistic sacrifice. There's enough. Yeah,
this is definitely a primer for something more coming.
Well, let's not forget it that there was another primer about a week before.
Wasn't there something at Yale?
No, there was the Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, well, there's a bomb threat at Yale University. A couple.
Well, I think for me, I'm digging more on like publicly. The thing is what I see with what's going on is there's no time left for them to beat around the bush.
Yeah,
they've cranked up their thing, so they're doing it in public for real. Like this is a public. There you go. That's their website that they're promoting this for, right? They're not hiding that this is what's going on. This is very deliberate. In fact, even with this whole hoopty old newspaper, like it's done in a very retro DIY style. Like this looks like an old punk poster from, the 80s. If that, like that the 2021, isn't that the I want to say the TSOL font right there, and all of that stuff. So this is very retro, reversey, and they're doing it in public because that's the time we're in. We're literally, they can do this in public, and what's going to happen? I mean, who's going to stop it? So the Alec P. Baldwin thing, I think, is because he inherited a P on this one, is why is that? He did what he did, allegedly. He allegedly did what he did, and I think he did what he did because he knows that he can do that now because the system's collapsing. That dude's not going to, I don't think the system's going to be around long enough for that dude to even have to deal with it, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a level of this that's so over the top obvious. Like I just like, I mean, we'll stop showing it to everybody. Let's just take one more look at this. Just, you have, like, people want to be at this. This is what people want. That's sick.
When you see all the people doing the when it's still, just before the performances and people are wanting to get in early or whatever to the whole thing, they're breaking, the stampede started from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, they knew what they knew what kind of crowd they were dealing with.
Yeah. Did you see this thing? This Jeremonius Bosch Christ in limbo?
No, what's this? What do you got?
This artwork here.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. You saw that in the corner. That's the portal that they're all walking in. Yeah. No, this is all symbolism.
And it's the eyes, how his eye, they have his eyes all blotted out in that. I mean, the thing that's sketchy is that this creature named Travis Scott, he actually is normalizing self, like just completely go full on narcissistic to the maximum level and do what thou wilt for you. Just do you, get what you want, and it's all about, that's why it attracted those type of people that were at his place. That's why people, probably 1 out of 10 people actually might have had a conscience there. But the majority of them really weren't caring that there was people dying around, or maybe there was, but it looked like a large majority wasn't really fazed by what was going on.
I think you got a couple things going on. I think you have a sonic attack going on, right? If you listen to 90210 as a song, it is a sound weapon. It comes in. Go listen to that.
I was listening to it. It definitely. It's
a sonic
some
weapon.
Weird gnawing. And I think with the injection, I wouldn't doubt. I would say probably it might have been a trial. It might have been an EMP trial run.
Well, that's the joke, right? I think I have two things. I think that people tend to over militarize their view of what this would look like, right? So when you hear EMP, this and that, I think people get in their minds like some sort of camo colored tank with a giant radar dish on it, or some
No.
AWACS plane, or a satellite, or some sort of hardware, right? When I go, this is how I dress it up. This is if I was doing this, this is what I would be doing if I was because right, again, is one of the things that I'm fully like aware of. The devil must present the contract. You knowingly have to enter into hell on your own. That's free will, right? That's the choice between God and not God. Is like you get to choose. And another interesting thing that like I noticed, because I was talking to someone about this and I was explaining the thing, and they're like, nah, it's not satanic. And I realized, and let me see if you pick up on this too. Do you, when first impressions occur, view Satanists as pretty much white people? Like your first thing, like I don't like do you think like
no, I mean I don't picture that, but if I was to say based on programming, I would say yeah, probably.
And no, I don't mean like on the sort of like SJW version of Satanism. I mean more on the who was the dude who was doing it all back in the day?
Anton LaVey.
Anton LaVey. You think about like your traditional Satanist practitioner. That's the robes. That's Illuminati. That's the whole
you think
thing.
of a white guy.
You tend to view it as a
like
upperly mobile white dude, right? Because I was talking to someone about this Travis Scott, and they're like, no, it's blah, 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 and his thing. And I go, why do you not think that he would be a Satanist? And it was because like that dude looks like a Satanist. But Travis Scott gets there's this weird thing where I've noticed that the Black community doesn't fit that narrative because it's always been promoted as a white guy. Like across the board, say like again, that's the CRT and all the stuff they're promoting as, the white guy's the devil and the whole thing. But I just thought that was an interesting observation when I was discussing this with someone, and they were like, nah. And I was like, why wouldn't that dude be a Satanist? And they were like, well, and I go, because he's a Black dude? And they're like, yeah, like that's not. And I was like, dude, like racial bias about like, it's pretty ingrained. And Anton LaVey is the number one, the godfather of Satanism.
Look at this.
The founding member of UB40 has died. Did you see all the sports people that have been sidelined due to their heart conditions?
Well, yeah, I think this is very interesting though. I was just fiddling around here, but
UB40 Astro dies. Interesting. His name's Astro.
Yeah. And
I see where you're getting at.
Yeah.
No, this is all programming to the core. So this is what I was getting at. So I went tonight while we did this late tonight is I went to a screening of the premiere at the church of the movie called Capital Punishment, right? Mm-hmm. And Capital Punishment's a movie about the January situation in the Capitol, right? And it's about like 12 people that get balled up in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And what goes on, what the movie's about is about these 12 people and their sort of story and them getting like caught in this thing. But the underlying thing, if you kind of take a step back from the Patriot thing and the whole thing is like, wait a minute, this was manipulated. And the movie, I don't even know if the movie's truly a documentary about the manipulation, but it could easily be. And I don't think that was their intent. It's all about how the manipulation of the FBI not getting involved, that the FBI, the Antifa had planned to do exactly that on all these like private chats that someone had broken into and leaked, that all these people had been manipulated in this thing. And there was a moment where each one of them decided to act against their own best interest by following the crowd or not reading the situation and being like, oh yeah, the building's open, I can walk in there. And then they got swept up in this setup, right?
What's
and
the
again,
name of the documentary?
It's called Capital Punishment. It's just I was at the premiere tonight. And
okay.
but what I'm getting at is the level of manipulation is so deep and complete that one of the things I think people are missing is the layers and depth of it. And they just can't believe that it's that well orchestrated. And again, this movie makes a pretty good case for that. And I don't think that was the intent of the movie. Like, I think the intent of the movie was more of like this is the evil government taking advantage of these people. But underneath it, I'm going, these people all blew it because they couldn't see their own manipulation, right? And I say that that's always the thing with any of these things is like the signs are all there. Like the signs were all there.
Are you familiar with the work of Ilana Friedland?
It sounds real familiar.
Yeah, she did all the geoengineering, the whole like study of chemtrails and all the sort of nanoparticles in the air. And she wrote a lot of she has a lot of information out. She has books on it. But I was just watching a podcast, or it was a video or interview with her. And yeah, I think a lot of what's going on, there's in Freemasonry and some of these occult sciences, it's very, very normal for them to display amongst themselves, to display their power to each other, and it's revealed. And they have these very elaborate theatrical plays that they're doing on the world stage. That's why It says all the world is a stage. And so if you think of something like Act One of a Hamlet, of a Shakespeare, we are seeing that play out in real time, where we're witnessing real, we're seeing real, what do you call, theatrical sort of jousting between these sort of whatever they say, illuminated ones, which they're not illuminated, but that this is the things they're doing. My wife was saying that someone was saying that there's a narrative going around that they were getting people with needles.
Yeah, the police chief came out and said that, and I wouldn't be surprised that that's going on at all. Again, is you've got to understand is like, right, is one of the things that's been mainstreamed is the needles right now. Where like they're everywhere.
It's fun. It's just gonna go get the jab. It's like, let's do it. Yeah, hell yeah, Kelly, let's get jabbed. I was at the store and like he jabbed me and I was like, wow, that's awesome. Kind of like that. Like it's like he caught AIDS. It's cool. Like he's an okay guy. It's nice. It's fun. He has COVID. Like get the jab. Put the mask on.
Yeah,
it's culturalized now. It's there. It's cool. It's okay. It's just a little jab, little mask.
Yeah, it's very, there's some very, I think that's why like people are not like truly guarding themselves enough is because I think one of the things they did that is totally desensitized people is making the whole truth thing sort of second nature, right? I've noticed that the real people that should be empowering themselves and pushing back on this is the truthers who know all this, but they sort of, and I saw it just on the chat, is like, oh, this has been going on for thousands of years type of thing. When like, yeah, totally. But now we're at the first time, I think, in human history where like it's 100% decloaked. Like they're not hiding it anymore on any level. Like they're, again, as I like the thing in Houston's pretty interesting because it's obvious. But I think where you just were the one that you hit on, the real display of power was Alex Baldwin. Like that dude, if you start following that a little bit, dude, it's pretty shady. And you go, what gnarlier way to display power than to just do it and go right up in the thing? Because that you don't have any fear, according to what like these tenets of these people are, right? Why would they be afraid of it? Right? They're not afraid of it. Just like a person. For you, do you live in fear as a Muslim, having true contact with God? Because I don't live in fear as a Christian, right? I know where I'm all down with it, right? That's part of my deal. So the Satanist, I think that people underestimate how they're operating under the same kind of fearlessness of their choice of picking God, right? And that we tend to take it through our lens of maybe guilt and shame and these types of sin and what do you call it in the Muslim world? What's sin in your world?
Sin.
Okay, sin.
I mean, it's called.
How do you say cucumber in Spanish?
Brother, my friend, it's called sin.
It's called a sin. How do you say cucumber in Spanish? Oh.
You guys got microwaves where you're from?
Hey, we got these. We got these things on your feet. They're called.
Hi, my name is Jordan. What's your name? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so I think that part of the genius of this move is they've desensitized the truthers to the point where the truthers, I think, have almost fallen victim to it on a certain level and have sort of gotten like, all right. I was talking to this gal who I'm working with, who's going to come on the interview this week. She's one of those affidavit people, right? She was a truther, but she sort of fell out with them. And I was telling her, as I was like, because once it becomes obvious, you can't be a truther anymore. We're now, for people like you and I, we're obviousers. Like it's obvious. Like there's word like
I see that like a lot of people, you know what a truther is? Like a borderline. Some truthers are still like watching Joe Rogan and like
they're still digging into the Illuminati and all this stuff.
Joe Rogan, man, is so deep, man. He just breaks it all down and we're like they fail to see their like just agreeing with another dimension of the falsehood.
Well, I think that's what I was getting about watching this film is these patriot people didn't. All right, so this is what I've been tripping on since that went down. Is I go, all right, you're a bunch of people who believe that the entire government was taken over by this essentially communist Marxist corporate entity.
Overnight. Yeah, in the past.
Well, no, they took it over. They stole your election, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you're a patriot. Like, yeah, I'm gonna like. So your plan as a patriot is you're going to go to their headquarters, their building, their temple, their headquarters. You're going to go to their building and you're going to do what? Oh, you're going to go, you're going to go in their building and do what? Like, there's like that thing where like, all right, I get you on a certain point. So what do you think you're going to do at their building if they're that organized? If you think they're that gnarly, that they stole an election, they did all this stuff, they blah, blah, blah. You show up at their building and you think, what? That they don't have that covered too? Like, it's that weird thing of speaking out of both sides of your mouth. It's like, so you guys have given these dudes that much power. They stole your election. They took over the country. They're passing all these laws. They're doing all this thing. They've taken over the schools. They've taken over the universities. They've taken over all the institutions. But I'm going to show up at their headquarters and I'm going to believe that I can actually like infiltrate their building and it's not a setup. I'm like I don't get how those two ideas.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's retarded.
Right. And that's what I'm saying about like the truth.
Mentally challenged. Sorry.
Well, it's the committing to this thing with blindness that's not discernment, right? Because God told me, like emotionally speaking, I wanted to go to that. I was like, yeah, I want to go. Like, yeah, oh, gung ho, dude. Like, yeah, let's go save the republic, right? Discerning dude who gets in a hold of God and it's like, God, I'm like, dude, it's a setup. I go because I had to take a step back and be like, wait a minute. These dudes are those dudes. I know what dudes they are. So why would I go to their?
It's very sad. I think this is I think the tragedy of the whole thing is that these same people, and we were there at one point, at some point or another. I think these people who are still very much a part of the system and very much a part of popular culture, they haven't changed their habits. They still have the same habits. They still do the same things. Like, it's weird because I'll meet someone who says I'm a truther, but then it's like, well, I just went to the movies and watched
exactly
a Disney movie with my kids. It's like there's certain telltales to how you truly understand the world. And I think when you really realize the scam in totality, you completely check out from it, all of it. Whether it's government, whether it's mainstream media, whatever, you wash your hands of it and you turn to God and you try to work on yourself to become a better human being, a better father, a better brother, a better person in society. And I think that that's one of the disparities of this whole thing, is that everyone gets caught up in the whole, the truth, finding the truth or finding the next rabbit hole to dive into, and we forget about ourselves in the process. And it's unfortunate.
Well, no, I think that's again is like, it's funny how that you go in the circle back to the thing again, is it all comes down to, right, like our children, like in our home, in our thing. Like, it's funny. I was talking to my one bro who's hugely not about saucing his child, and he was like I better get down to Disneyland with them while I still have a chance. And it was that same sort of thing, as I was like, dude, you don't see that Disneyland is the mental sauce, like the comic sauce.
Exactly.
Because I remember having to like go to sort of battle with my wife about that one, about the Disney stuff, about all the Disney movies and stuff. And she's like, and I go, dude, I understand Bambi and Snow White and the whole thing. But I also go, look, now what Disney's about, this. And I go, we can't know this and subject our child and be like, it's okay. Too much to do that. It's very, and it's very tough because you gotta, you draw your lines all.
You have to, like, I call it, I always way of a descriptive way of explaining it. You have to like blow up the font to like a 172 point font. You have to bold type it. You have to underline it. You have to fly it on a Goodyear blimp all across the world infinitely until it sinks in the head that this is actually something that you should stay away from, that you know what it is. I think a lot of, I'm saying in reference to our own family, like my children, I have to constantly repeat the obvious all day, every day until it, and little by little, it sinks in, That's the strange thing is that there is, I do believe there's a very powerful spell for those who are disconnected or have a shaky faith right now. There's a permeating spell right now that's being casted in the world through media and through through whatever different means. And I believe we have to be almost overstress the obvious again and again till it sinks in.
Well, that's what I was talking to you about the other day, right? Is like part of what I've been realizing as the person who's become a leader in this, trying to stop the mandating of saucing the children in the local school system, right? Like I've like become like one of the like leaders because I know how to operate in the system, right? And I know how to lobby and call these people, and it's been kind of rad because I was joking with my wife. I go, for 10 years of being down at City Hall, like it's all paying off on this one. Like I was calling people yesterday and they're all like people that I used to be in opposition about are rolling with me on this one, right? And the reason why is because they're like, we respect you for being the opposition, dude, but we're rolling with you because we actually know that and so we're going with you on this. And it was funny because I was talking to this one city council member that I know well enough, and I go, let me explain my motivation to you. And I go, you have to understand that I don't have any skin in this fight. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, I've already pulled my child from the public school system. I homeschooled. I'm not a parent that cares ultimately in my personal life whether you mandate sauce or not. I ain't doing it. And I'm not pressured by your system because I've moved out of your system, right? And I go, but the reason I'm doing all this is for the people that are actually being coerced by the system, whether because they don't have the economics to do it, they don't have the time to do it, they don't have the solid marriage to do it, they don't have the pre-placed building blocks to do it, and they're stuck in a system, right? I go, I'm fighting for these people. And I'm here 100% in this, fighting it. But I go, at the end of the day, like, I'm not doing it for me on any level. And it was funny because this dude like actually heard that more than what we were doing. He's like, wow, you're like actually like, I go, yeah, like I'm showing up and doing all this stuff because there's people that can't. And God's got me, like, I didn't get into the God thing, but I can with you, is that's what I've realized about this time we're in, is my job as a person of God is to go and begin to protect, to the best of my ability, the women and children, and be like, step into the breach. And I don't have to do it with anger. Like, that's what I meant about these people not realizing the full, what a patriot is, or what an obviouser is. Like, the truth is so obvious now. Like, we don't need to talk about the truth and uncovering the riddle or patriotism. It's now apply the principles to the people that are the weakest in our society, women and children, and it could be men too. It doesn't matter. People that are stuck in the system that don't want to do it, but they need help. And
It's interesting as you're talking, something's come to my mind about, I think that the, whatever you want to call them, um, the people who are at the top that are pushing these things or imposing these mandates, a lot of people seem to be scared to speak up just sheerly on the fact that they're going to be targeted.
Oh yeah.
And I feel what's very interesting is that when you let the fear go, you at least start demonstrating morality. I'm not talking about, the ideal thing is to engage in your civic duty and like do what you're doing. And by the way, I've reached out to a couple people locally. I haven't taken the steps that you've taken ultimately to go into those groups yet, but I have reached out, and there is an interest. But I'm also realizing that there's a moral transformation that a person has to go through before they actually get to the point where they can do what you're doing. Okay. And they have to first, have this desire to change and to transform themselves so that they can ultimately, because you're not going to want to help anyone else. You're not going to have that desire unless it first starts within you. God doesn't change the condition of a person until they change themselves. Or change the condition in general until they start to change themselves. So yeah, I just was, point being is that when we start working on ourselves to really make some changes, and I'm not talking about woo-woo motivational speak. I'm talking about stopping, like destroying ourselves, like stopping addictions, stopping porn, stop snapping on our children, stop, and I don't watch porn, by the way, but I'm saying the people that used to be an issue for me, and that used to, and a lot of
people, man.
And that's one thing, but there's so many things that if we could start to become more stronger and more courageous in eradicating some of these habits and drawing closer to our Creator, then these things, civic duties, and those things become more and more, they become more and more doable, I think. And so,
I think that's where it is the psychic transformation, and I think that's when you bump into the thing is like, well, when you follow the ultimate, what's the ultimate truth, right? God's the ultimate truth, and what's the ultimate truth of God is like infinite love beyond our comprehension, right? So most of these, like kind of what I was getting at with all of these things is like the people in the Capitol, right, who got wrapped up in this thing, they didn't check the energy field, right? So if everything's God and God is ultimate love, and there's people in your environment that are angry, for example, throwing things, doing aggressive acts, this and that, that's not where you want to be, right? That's what the discernment's about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
so it's this thing. So the truthers, right, are the same sort of thing. They're not reading the temperature of it, because without their quest to find the truth, well, what would they find? That ultimately at the end of the day, it's God, and God is love. Well, why don't they want to find that truth? Because it's easier to be angry at some system, at the Illuminati, at this, instead of looking at yourself and going, well, at the end of the day, the obvious part is that I participate in all this stuff myself.
Yeah.
Whereas then it goes to God, and then it disempowers the thing. And then you get to circle back, right? Like once you've done what you're talking about, like this, solving the riddle of self, getting with God, getting back into the love and grace, you can circle back out and then re-engage the thing. And it's what I was talking to you about the other day. I don't think we get to leave this until we do that. We can't just escape to the rural lands and start
I agree.
our crushing compound until we've stood in front of the dragon and had the dragon breathe on us and go.
And that may not be for us. If you look at every single prophet of God, Moses, Jesus, David, all of them, remember, they all spent time alone for some time.
Sure.
In connecting with, with God. And so they worked on themselves. And so now, like, we can't afford to go. I mean, we could go somewhere like to the mountains for a day. And that's needed. But the work, I do believe that, and I'm not claiming to be there, but I know I need to start making more effort on myself. And I'm doing those things. But I think that someone needs to be here in around the people who need help. I don't like this idea of just jamming out on everyone, where there is some work to be done. Now, I'm not saying to be forever in that situation, but it does seem like, at least for me right now, I don't see myself running out and to have my own compound or something anytime.
Well, we're right here now, right? Like, we can't be there because we're not there. God's got us right. God's got you in your garage with your family in your location in the Bay Area. God's got me in my office and with my family in my location in the Conejo Valley, right? And so we're right where we're supposed to be right now. That doesn't mean we don't get to like end up where we're supposed to be, which is always the sort of the proverbial promised land, whatever that may look like. That could be eternal life after we die and we can answer for our time here, or that could be occupying the land in a field somewhere in the mountains and building a new culture. But what I'm sort of convinced on, and this is again where the patriots, I think, walk into the trap and where the truthers peter out, is that you ultimately have to go stand in front of the dragon and have the dragon breathe on you fire and open its mouth and the whole thing and look in there and go, it's on my terms because God sent me here in divinity, and I love you and I forgive you and I pray for you and I stand before you and I reclaim this divinity. And what I'm sort of realizing now that I'm kind of doing this circle back around with these people is that in order for me to go stand in a new alternative reality in the country with a new community and build a new civilization out of the ruins of this failing civilization, we'll be able to smell or see or tell those who have stood before the dragon and let it breathe on them. Just like a lion tamer sticks its head in the lion's mouth to show its dominance. We have to be able to go into the portal of the beast with the grace and divinity and stand there and be like, I don't want anything from you. I just want you to know I reclaim my divinity, and show these other people what it looks like. So I got this group of people, these moms who just woke up, and what are we doing? And it's like, okay, like I have to go through the whole thing for you to realize that you've woken up, but because you woke up late, you've essentially are powerless now, but you're empowered to learn that you're powerless. So what does that mean? Well, that means that there is a way out for you, but it's not the way you thought. It's now you have to admit your folly and stand in your folly and go, oh my God. And if you can say, oh my God, you might get it. It's like that video, the clip of the girl we walked who was in hell, right? The girl it was hell. Does that girl now know what hell looks like? And maybe she stands there and goes, oh my God, help me. God, help me, right? God, help me. And these people have a chance to realize their truth, that they never needed the system anyhow for their school children. Like I've realized, so I'm going to interview the homeschooler people tomorrow morning, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole time I'm doing this, leading people to fight the mandates for their public school thing, I'm like part of like the homeschooler guy. And I realized it's this perfect symbiotic thing that God would have me doing, where I'm leading these people to push back on a system of public education, but ultimately there's no way around it because the system's 15 steps ahead of us on this one. But when we hit the brick wall, we hit the brick wall not as weak people, but as people charging at the brick wall. We're going to run at the brick wall with all of our divinity and try to punch the brick wall down. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But when we hit the brick wall, that's where I go, dude, I got the backup plan. I got all the homeschooling information for you. Just pull your kids. You don't need to get the sauce. You can do this and form a new community and a new reality. You don't need them, but I get we need to go through the journey to get back to the roots.
Yeah.
You know, it's this fascinating duality.
I just saw like George Floyd painting on the brick wall for some reason.
What's the problem? Was
I
the
just saw
promo code?
I just saw like George Floyd promo code.
Well, that was the first. That was the
why is that happening to my brain right now?
Because that was the insert in there, because that was a designated move. The same. That's why it's supposed to be there. See, we can view it. Most people, it's just stuffed into the subliminal consciousness.
I just want to. I think at the end of the day, like what's going to keep me going might just be another promo code, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, same here, dude. Like promo. I'm working on my new t-shirt, dude. So you know, I've been learning to silk screen myself, right? So I took a piece of my art. So
you didn't send me that file, by the way.
Oh God, I keep forgetting. So I took this piece of art, right? I want to put this on a t-shirt, right? Like so I went from doing the line drawing of the monkey tiger, right?
That's cool.
So I'm like, my next project's going to be that DIY home screen. So I spent the last 3 days making 6 different transparencies of that. So I got that one, which is the black outline. And then each color I've colored in. I can't take them apart yet because I'm like, each color I've made a transparency for each color. So my Hail Mary is to see if I can get this to get one of these off, right? Promo code t-shirts link down below. I'm working on stuff, but
yeah, no, there's
I think it's like you getting the printer going and these things is I think that we don't quit. We don't roll over. Travis Scott ain't got nothing on us, you know, like he can do all this like sucking up souls thing all day long, dude. Like we're in the business of helping souls save themselves. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a lot of these guys, they don't know what they're playing with, you know. That's the unfortunate thing is that I want to try to cultivate.
I argue different. I argue they know exactly what they're doing.
What I'm saying, and from a little bit of a different angle, they know what they're doing in action and what they're, you know, they have that intention, but they don't understand the ramifications of when they leave this world and they go back to their creator. They don't understand the severity of that. If they, they don't change their ways. You know?
Well, I think that's the whole thing of, you know, I was at the Chinese military base that has bulk supplies, right? Getting some celery and stuff the other day. And I went by the medical part of it. And there was a bunch of people signing the paperwork to get the clot shot, dude, because, you know, they wanted to they didn't want to get COVID AIDS, dude. And I was watching them fill out the paperwork, right? And they were reading their like maybe they weren't, maybe they were, but I knew what they were signing was their waivers going, hey, it's not, I'm signing away the liability on this thing. If I'm about to go take it, get my jab, and I'm signing this piece of paperwork that gives you guys clearance. So this weird thing is like, yeah, they may not truly know what they just signed on the dotted line, but they will one day down the line.
They're gonna like their name is gonna pop up like a Wi-Fi option on their phone, like like
Yeah.
just I don't know, David Smith. It's like an option to log on to myself,
Oh, well, that's the funny thing with all of this stuff is it's really pretty. It's funny when you look at it, it's very pathetic, right? It's very cartoonish and sort of stupid and like really idiocracy. And then because I have the ability to sort of self-reflect, I imagine that I look pretty ridiculous to a certain level of it too, of like, I'm running around with my like fancy pants and lollipops too, dude. But they're not fancy pants and lollipops. They're what I do, but it's all dressed up as I'm participating
check out my jacket, dude.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Look at my shirt.
It doesn't get any better than that. Do you see that shot, dude? That is.
I did. It's incredible, dude. You should wear that.
It's so bad
all the time, dude. Well,
I got something to share with you though. Someone just sent me something. I think it's it might be one of your viewers. I think it is.
They send stuff, dude.
He's a good guy. He's really cool.
Secret Agent Gunler, dude.
Maybe it might be. Is it Gunler?
Gunler's Gunler. What are we? Oh, look at that. It's so crazy, dude.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, the hands.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. That's how gnarly.
The eyes.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, dude. That's what I mean is that's what I'm saying is like, so I'm organizing this thing, right, with these people. And I'm like, look, what I need from you tomorrow is I need you to just show up at this meeting. And all I need you to do is spend a minute to show up on this thing, right? And it's like, I think if we get this pulled off, it's gonna be, I think it could, because I'm working with God here and really am, dude. This has all been God inspired, is I think that it's going to cause some sort of interesting ripple in the matrix. But so you try to explain to people, hey, look, this is what I need you to do. And it's very like, dude, like I'm giving you the most vanilla, spoon-fed, easy way to push back and find your own power. And you're like, still like, ah. And I go, your kids are on the line, dude. Your children are on the line. You know this, and yet you're sort of like, and I go, all you need, it's a minute at 6:45 tomorrow night. Like, I just need you to call in. It's a Zoom. You don't even have to drive anywhere. Just call in, Zoom it. Say your name, how many kids you got, that you're opposed to this thing. And it's like this funny level of like, I don't think people understand how real all this time is. And again, I know it's all fake because I roll with God on a deeper level, but like, how are people missing that?
This is what I was telling a friend of mine today. I was like, the way this whole thing came into being is so erroneous and so wrong and so obviously stupid that should have been that should have been the revelation that changed your way of looking at the world. And I think, unfortunately, to walk it back now and to try to get people to, it's very hard at this stage because everyone around them, it's normalized, this whole thing. And it really has taken, it's really a massive, it's the world's greatest propaganda campaign ever. And so that's been my argument, is that how do you, when you know the beginning of this is being so obviously stupid and crazy, at what point do you think that that the ride changed? At what point on this road do you think that we're anything different than the lunacy that we started with? It's all insanity from the beginning to the end. And the end is 5 to 11-year-olds. That's the end. The end is, my mom 10 years ago took me to the site, and I got this really cool injection in me, but I can't have kids anymore. I don't wonder why, but that's okay because I got Travis Scott and Little Nas, and I can have a baby if I want right now,
Well,
without having to get with a shoot. You know what I can do is I can marry a man, and I can get in vitro, and I can have a baby. I can have my mom carry the baby for me. Did you see that one?
Yeah. That's where like there's this weird thing that like I bump into where like it's the thing of like, it's almost what like the thing I was talking about with the truthers and the patriots is they're still dependent upon this thing working out, right? It doesn't work out. That's the rub. This doesn't work. Like, it's like, and I think that's why we needed to hone in on this Travis Scott thing, is that's the best it can do right now. That is Travis Scott's show, and that satanic hellscape scenery and his music is the best that creative minds are putting out right now. Engineered creativity is that, right? That's the thing. So you look at this thing where people, I think part of their disbelief is this thing that like, it's all going to work out. I know it's going to work out on a God level, but on a terrestrial level, like this thing's a goner. Like it's a goner. And again is I think what we're talking about with like, there's no retreating. Like there's no escaping it in some mountain lair or some other place. The only way to escape it is to stand in the truth of it and understand it and walk away from it, because you've disempowered it, right? Like it once it has no hooks left in you, then you can walk. That's why sort of like what Big Bear and those dudes are doing up there in Idaho, yet they're still got their own hustle going on.
One of the really, this is something like the harsh reality of, I think, what it sort of boils down to for me. I don't know about you. I think for many of us, we'd agree that if you don't have control of yourself, like if you can't like say no to certain things, you don't have like agency over because God has made you a vicegerent or leader on this earth. That's already your birthright in a sense. Not in a sense, it's supposed to be what you're doing, is that you have control over your whole being. You act according to God's will. And I think that a lot of us don't have control over ourselves, so it's like, if you can't control yourself, if you can't like draw lines and say, well, I don't do that, and this is what I'm about, and you're not consistent, it's kind of like you're not going to be able to make really much progress, you in that.
No, you're totally right. So I had this,
Al, I'm saying generally, I'm saying
anyway. Yeah. So Al got his first like Bible, right? The kid's Bible. So we read it because he likes to read it. It's got pictures in it and the whole thing. So we started at the beginning, and so we're reading, about Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and the serpent and the whole thing, right? But it's sort of like like tapered down kids, right? And I discovered something that kind of blew my mind. So why do Adam and Eve get kicked out of Eden?
Well, because they mutually took from the tree that they weren't supposed to take from.
No, I saw it clearly because it was this thing. So
Because of, I mean, from an Islamic perspective, that it was because of the disobedience, or because of from not fulfilling the command.
No. Like that's the thing. But there's a deeper level that's super subtle that I picked up because I was perceiving it through a 6-year-old's eyes, and we were talking about it, right? So when the serpent convinced Eve to take the apple, right? And she feeds it to Adam, right? And he eats the apple, and then they get naked, and God comes down. It's like, why are you hiding from me, right? God asks Adam, I sent this helper down for you and the whole thing. Did you eat the apple? What does Adam do? Adam blames her. They never would have gotten kicked out of heaven, I'm convinced, if Adam had gone to God and gone, God, I take full responsibility. I ate the apple. What Adam didn't do was protect the person. So God made Eve for Adam, right? To be his friend, to be like their friend, his co-person in Eden, right? So God made Eve, right, for Adam to have a friend down there. And so when Eve did whatever Eve was doing, because she got tricked by the serpent and he got tricked by the serpent, when the moment of truth came up, when God came and said, Adam, what happened? Adam went, not me, her, right? And I'm convinced if Adam had stood before God and gone, God, I ate the apple. I take full responsibility for my actions. And God would have been like, wow, you told me the truth. Everything I think would have been different, even though they weren't supposed to eat from the apple tree. But what if the test wasn't about eating the apple from the tree? What if the test was about telling God the truth when confronted about eating the apple from the tree?
Yeah.
You know, because he throws his chick under the bus and blames her. Like, that's not what a man's supposed to do in God's divinity, right? A man's supposed to stand up and take responsibility for his actions. Then God goes, so Eve, what happened? Because now he didn't scapegoat her. Adam copped a plea and was like, I did this. I've screwed up. Eve's cool. It was my fault. And then God's like, all right, dude, let me ask Eve, what did you do? And she's like, dude, I got tricked by the serpent, dude. Like, you made a super good case and the whole thing. And like she gets honest, right? But she doesn't get the chance to be honest because Adam went straight up lied, and they're like, you're out. That's my Spicoli's version of Adam and Eve, dude.
No comment.
You know, I think, right, because we're stewards of this realm, dude. Like, we're supposed to be, the buck's supposed to stop with us, right? Like, and it goes back to what you were saying about like not fleeing because it's going to be hard here. You know, we're supposed to stand here and in our
yeah. I mean, the difference between the devil and Adam was that the devil argued with God. You know, it was the devil who didn't actually realize his arrogance and his folly.
Sure.
And that was when he said, you know, I'm better than Adam because I'm made of fire and he's made of clay. And that was how this whole rivalry started. This rivalry between Satan and mankind was really born out of the fact that God created the human being with a certain capacity that the angels didn't have, and nor did the the jinn, which where the devil comes from. So that being said, we're all sort of trying to get back to that, that honesty, that with God,
Yeah.
and I think that is where real change takes place, is that, crying and trying to like shed a tear, when no one else sees, in the late hours of the night, and admitting our shortcomings, because that's certainly what Adam did. He admitted his shortcomings, and that's why he, but it was after, obviously after the fact, but that no fear and no grief that was promised, to not have fear and to not have grief, was predicated on a person being, thankful and trusting in God. I think that is what a lot of us are suffering from, is that there's a lot of effort to disconnect people from being thankful to God. So we have all these little gadgets and all these little toys and everything, Uber this, and Amazon comes right away, and everything is instant gratification, and so we're losing our ability to be thankful, and our trust, but yeah, it's a crazy time, man. I mean, I think I wonder what the next big, what do you think the next, before we go, what do you think the next big psyop's going to be? I don't even like to use that word, but
well, I think that's why
nonetheless.
think that's why this ritualistic death recently is prevalent, because it's right as we've all gained some traction, right? So if you look at the narrative on the thing, right, like good as making an end run on this thing. You look like, I really like that lieutenant governor of Virginia. She's rad. What is her name? Oh, what is it? Her name? Her name's key to this whole thing. It's something. I gotta get it right.
Heidi Seaman.
Yeah. It's a.
I'm not joking.
No. I think it's Seymour.
Oh, okay.
No. What is? Wait. It's. I gotta get it right.
I love the names. Like sometimes.
No. It's one Lieutenant
Woodcock is the That was a good one.
Virginia. Yeah, I didn't want. We went on the bunny hole on that. Come on, dude. There she is. Winsome Sears. So her name's Winsome Sears, dude. Like, if that isn't an interesting name, when I saw that and her with the AR, dude, and I was like, this gal's rad. So her name's Winsome Sears. Like, talk about like a interesting name to signal up some other stuff, right? Winsome Sears, right? And you pile on this whole thing. So like, there was a big like sigh of relief this week, because there was the big red tidal waves pushing back on the woke mob thing, right? And we're getting organized over here with this. All these moms have showed up, and we had our big protest, and all these, like, we're getting the ball shifting. And I go, okay, I was sitting the other day going like, when's the next shoe going to drop? Because like we're getting momentum all of a sudden. Like the pushback momentum's starting to happen, you know, like this whole thing, you know, with the injunctions against OSHA and the whole narrative's falling apart. You had that thing down in, I think in Australia, of 141 people in the hospital, only one of them was unsauced. And the whole thing's unraveling. And you go, okay, like what's next? And then I see the ritualistic thing the other night, and I'm like,
dude, holy schnack.
What do you got?
Guess whose birthday was during the ritual?
Oh, dude.
It was Kylie's mom.
Really?
That was a freaking celebratory thing for Kristen Mary Jenner, who is
Really?
66
years
old.
Of course, dude. Of course, dude.
Of course.
Yeah,
Dude.
it makes total sense.
November 5th, 1955. She's 66 years old. Kristen Mary Jenner.
That makes
that's interesting. And there's no, I mean, that was like a party for her.
Yeah, well,
they choose to have, okay, right? Like because they got together after that. Astro World was previously on November 17th and 18th before. But when Kylie and Travis got hooked up, you know, they coordinated it for Kristen Jenner's that's interesting.
Well, again, it's all like I think what we're like on a certain level is it's so obvious. You don't even need to dig that hard to like see.
I just thought, yeah, I was.
It's all laid out.
Yeah,
it's all laid out. It's just like the dumb March Friday the 13th when all the executive order goes through, and it's all like that's what I mean. That's why the truthers are losing their mind is because their gig is up. Like there's no point in being a truther anymore because it's obvious. The whole truther concept is based upon uncovering the facts and going down the bunny hole and being a unique lollipopper, right? So now the truth is obvious. It's obvious in every. You just like they weren't hiding. Travis Scott and that event was not hiding exactly what it says right on the thing. Cross over to the other side, see what's on the other side, the portal, the hands, the thing, like come on down. And then you listen to the lyrics of that song that's playing and that they opened with and the whole nine, right? There's no like need for a Stanley Kubrick movie about it with hit like, you know, it's like that whole thing where like, you know, The Shining supposedly about like the fraud of Apollo 11, dude, right? Like riddle me this, Stanley Kubrick, right? Well, you don't need to, Stanley Kubrick doesn't need to do a riddle me this eyes wide shut thing because they're not even hiding.
What I think it is, what I really think all this is, to be honest with you, like all this, if I was to sum it up, it looks to me, it's about the not transgender movement. That's the segue. But it is about the transhumanist movement.
Sure.
But the transhumanist movement is getting everyone sauced up and installing these, bringing everyone online as much as possible, and installing the technology in them, which Moderna is very clear about. And you know, I think that Kris Jenner, her husband, being Caitlyn, you know, makes a lot of sense to me that would be that would take place on that day. There's something there. There's a lot of
it coincides with Kanye and all of it. Like there's a play going on.
Why are all them infatuated with black men and black children? Like Madonna Madonna is infatuated with black men. Kanye, the Kardashians, and I don't mean that as a rhetorical. I mean, I'm wondering why there's some sort of like, I don't know if it's
I made a
some
case,
ritualistic thing.
I made a case for this about a year ago, and it's this. I would argue that the blacks of the United States of America are closer to the truth than anybody else, because they have historically, especially ADOS, are historically, genetically, almost like generationally close to what real bondage looks like, right? So they know exactly on a real close level of what it looks like, right? So their energy field is a lot different. And I think the Big Bear kind of hits on it a little bit. There's a different energy field going on there. And so I think these people, why they're attracted to black men is because they're almost freer on a certain cosmic level, dude. There's a level of I don't give any F's about any of this because I know how close that is.
Because she's like, got a boyfriend now too, Corey Gamble.
It's
my God, I'm totally into this whole socialite thing. I'm like really getting into
it's sort of like this weird thing where like everyone's like, people were sending me out like Aaron Rodgers is gonna save us, dude, right? And then of course they're flipping the script on him to be like, oh, you're savior. So let's say that Aaron Rodgers is the dude who's the like cracks the thing open a little bit. And Dana White, which is some interesting cases about him. So what if the dudes that are going to break down the barriers on this whole thing are not on the straight and narrow either, dude? So and they get to be like, that like they're put on this pedestal of flipping the script. And I think that it's all energy vampire work. And the people that have a lot of the energy are, as Dave Chappelle said in Half Baked, my grandfather was in the Tuskegee experiments. I think there's something in it like that. And what I
can see that.
You get what I'm saying is I think there's a pure energy on a certain level over in that demographic because we've been so satiated our whole lives with the trinkets and the stuff and the thing and the programming. We're almost energetically sterile on a certain level. Like some of us break free, but we're still very, it's like we got no rhythm, dude.
What are you saying, Hamish? I mean, are you saying
I can't
come on.
I can't dance.
Golly gee willikers.
I can't dance. I can't sing. I can't jump, dude.
I have rhythm, okay?
I don't have no rhythm, dude. I got this, dude. I got that, dude.
Go, Hamish.
And wait, I can
Hamish.
do this one.
Yep.
See, we can all do staying alive, right? That's not a desirable energy field.
Travolta.
Yeah, dude, right. So I think there's a certain component to all of that there's this weird weave going because and this bumps me into the transhumanism stuff too. I'm at this moment still fully convinced that we're not the target, that we're the prize, that people that have decided to take the route of most resistance, of like, all right, I'm going to stand on my principles. I'm going to stay with God. I'm going to choose not to participate in your satanic system. I'm going to do all these things to purify my body, try to make myself as healthy as possible, raise my kids without the indoctrination. I go, if you were a transhumanist person, that is the vessel you would want to install the probes in the brains and turn into the capsules. You don't want the people that you wouldn't want are the compliant, like, yeah, I'm going to get in that and drink some more high fructose corn syrup and like watch some football. Like, yeah, I'm not going to build anything, dude. I'm not creative. I don't do anything. I just sit here and I do lollipops, and I got my fancy pants, and I took my shots. I took all my shots. I took another one. Dude, I feed my kid to the wood chipper.
I think I'm late in paying my Pornhub subscription. Dude.
Yeah, I got my porno on. I got my ESPN sports over here, dude. I got lube. I got what I need. And the globalists are like, these are the useless eaters, right? If again, it's because I can walk in their shoes for a minute, and I go, what if it's the twisted prize, you know? What if we are the 500 million maintenance crew? The hell-bent push on this thing doesn't make any sense.
Well,
they're pushing so hard, and they literally, like, when I'm quoting,
I don't think they're pushing anymore. I think the people themselves are pushing. Like, it's taken on a whole life of its own from the sauced. Like, the actual sauced victim is pushing it harder than the government would ever push
and
it.
that makes sense too, is because the last thing you want to do is feel stupid, because they're crumbled to the thing. Totally. So anybody standing up to it shines the light on them as idiots. Yeah, and I don't mean the people that have made a conscious decision for their own personal reasons. I mean the people that made that pulled, I'm taking one for the team. I madly I respect people. Like, I would talk to some. I'll tell you this, Jordan, on this one, on lobbying for this thing, the amount of older people that I've talked to that are like, yeah, I took my stuff. I'm that demographic, and the people, all these older people I talk to, they're like, the odds, it's all about obese people, and they get into all the facts. They're like, I took my shot, I took my booster, but they go, when it comes to the kids, no way, we're not doing it. Like, I have more older people that have drawn the line in the sand and gone, look, dude, I did it for me because I'm old. And I go, I respect that. I get that. But we're not doing it to the kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big people that are, dude, the support I've rounded up was all older people in the political structure of my community are like, dude, we're not down with what they're doing to the kids. The people that are down to feeding their kids to the wood chipper are the parents, which is it's these parents you see that are walking without the face diaper, but their children have it on.
That is something that that was like the weird magic trick that happened. Like, we're
super gnarly, dude.
All the kids are wearing it and the parents aren't. And it's so weird. I get actually a little mad. I'm like, dude, just what? Anyways, yeah, it's problematic.
Well, again, is I think that's it. Is it's the Moloch thing, and the whole deal is like, you look at these ancient, like, ritualistic things. It's all about feeding your firstborn into the volcano and all this kind of stuff, dude, or was it your last born or whatever it is, right? Don't they come? Isn't there one of the stories in the Bible where they're supposed to put out their youngest children or oldest, and it's like another test of, like, cuckness, dude. It's that thing of, like, you got to remember, these people didn't care enough early on to wake up. So it makes total sense to me, dude, that, like, it's that like, yeah, like, you didn't see the clown show. We rolled this in with the dude with orange, we called Orange Man. Like, we rolled it in with a pot-bellied McDonald's eating orange man playing YMCA and doing the whole small hands dance. We rolled it in with the clown. Like we came with the clown. You guys didn't see the clown? Like there's a giant clown and you guys didn't see that? Wow, okay, feed us your kid. You're an idiot. And they're like, yeah, we didn't see the clown. What clown? There's no clown, dude. Here, take my child, stick them 50 ways to Sunday, dude. Like, better them than me. Like, I think there's really people that are like,
yeah, I mean, the whole trick that the Trump trick was the Trump card.
Genius, dude.
Very, very genius.
It was like plain as day, dude. Like it was.
I mean, if you look at, I always say Trump is the archetypal TV personality. He is why TV was created. And he's
master.
Like,
the master.
Yeah.
The court jester.
The master of.
He was the court jester, bro. Right? Who's the only one who can make fun of the king? The court jester. What did Trump spend all his time doing? Make fun of the king. That's all he did. He was the court jester, and everybody thought he was the king. No, he was the clown that the king hired to entertain the people in the castle. Like, oh, I got the court jester, and the king said,
"Well, he did, and he was allegedly, he was calling fake news and all the, his attack of the media." Was actually, those are all his friends that own those production companies.
Oh, dude.
Those are all his friends. I could repeat that a million times. Those are all his friends. And they're all Jews from New York and Jersey. And I could say that because I grew up in that world in Miami, and we used to talk about Trump. But it was interesting because that is literally, those are all his friends. Those are all his friends.
Of course. Well, it's a giant shakedown, dude. It's literally just promo code and it's SOUL. The promo code soul. Turn in your soul and you get to like enjoy this little dance down here. And like if that's good enough for you, dude, if your little apartment in Sunset Walks with your adopted dog is fine, and In-N-Out Burger with your family every 2 weeks, then fine, it's great, dude. Like,
you remember the
car vehicle poem? What's that?
The Trump snake poem when he said,
yeah.
So he was giving a little nod to what.
How about when remember when Deerdick was it Alien Workshop that was selling stuff? No, that was on Alex Jones. You remember when Alien Workshop was selling stuff on Alex Jones? You get it out. Yeah, you don't remember that?
Really?
I think, or Deerdick was one of those dudes that you could get like I think it was the Brainwash with the White House deck. You could get it on InfoWars.
Oh, wow. You can see it here. It's the
show it up here. Let me
Alien Workshop decks with Alex Jones InfoWars.
Yeah, let me see it. Put it on the screen. Yeah.
Well, I found some sort of tidbit of it. Let me actually confirm it. I don't want to get you.
You're gonna get me deleted, dude.
Sorry. Alien Workshop collab deck.
Yeah, they used to sling them on InfoWars back in the day. Okay. You probably can't find it. It was had to have been like almost 10 years ago.
Okay.
But just interesting, the hustles.
Yeah.
It's all hustle, dude. Like that's the thing, dude. You think Travis Scott ain't selling records right now or song downloads, dude? That dude's probably had more downloads. You know what? I'm gonna check something out, dude. This might be interesting. Hold on, dude. Let's see, dude.
Fake news was a warm up for censorship. That's exactly what it was.
I have a hunch here, dude.
You misspelled Travis, by the way. Trace.
Trace. Oh, I always
What,
do
what
that.
about Scott toilet paper though? Where's that come from? I mean, maybe this whole Travis Scott thing is about the next shortage. Maybe that's the next false flag is going to happen. It's going to be shortage of toilet paper. I figured it out.
Well, you know, 5 plus the 2 6s make 12, which makes 17. So on the 17th is the day before the 18th, and the 18th is always when something starts, and the government's supposed to shut down on the 19th. So we followed that. We add the
That's
one
a 32 pack of Scott tissue paper, one level down from the 33rd degree latitude of where the Houston ritual took place at 33rd degrees latitude, just southeast of the Texas Book Suppository building in Dallas. So I think that we're onto something here.
Wait, I think I'm on to something here, dude. Wait. Hold
Onto something here.
No, well, you had the big thing going on with remember like the Let's Go Brandon songs?
Yeah.
I was like, let me go to iTunes. I can't find the hits and go, I bet Travis Scott just eclipsed all that. Is my hunch.
That makes sense. You want to see the trending?
I can't find, I'm not that good. I don't normally care about any of that stuff. So I'm like,
I have an app
where to
called
look.
Trending app. If you download the Trending app, it'll update you notifications every 10 minutes.
Where did I just see that thing? I just saw it, just said it on something.
Houston, we have a problem. Or Houston, we have liftoff. Notable quotes from the Apollo 11 moon landing.
So trending, yep. Top of trending right there, dude, on Apple iTunes. Travis Scott, dude. Because like that's it. That dude's gonna sell more.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna
music right now than ever. Because like I'm telling you, like nobody, like a huge demographic are like, huh, what? Like, what? And then they go and they're like, they get captivated by that satanic eye candy and sonic weaponry, dude. Like that is sonic weaponry, dude. Like, don't listen to that stuff unless you're discerned.
What is all this like multicolored eye? Like they're all like there's all this neon.
It's demon stuff, dude. You gotta watch them. Don't play. Dude, watch Don't Play God, dude. Just be like, wow, dude, they're not beating around the bush at all. It's the Don't Play God video is equivalent to the Nas X one where he does the lap dance on the devil. So don't forget that little Nas X did the lap dance on the devil, dude.
Oh, and there's Travis Scott with little Nas X in the rodeo song.
There you go. Yeah,
they both did it. Little Nas X featuring, Travis Scott was in the Industry Baby. There you go. The birthing.
He was. What do you mean?
The pregnancy.
Yeah.
Of Little Nas.
Yeah.
Remember where he shows him?
Yeah.
Why I got so furious of this whole thing? Well, that actually he's in that very video where he's giving birth.
Is he the baby?
Well, the baby, I guess, is it'd
be rad if he was.
That's where I'm getting very curious now. I might buy his album just to see. I know I'm going to devote at least 8 hours to watch Little Nas videos now until the morning. I'll let you know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I got to do research.
I gotta look. I've got to get some of the shoes to look, dude. There's got to be a
truth
promo.
seeker. I'm all about the truth.
There's got to be a promo code that gets it cheaper. Is there a bro deal?
There's always a promo code.
Bro deal?
It's I'll tell you. Let me talk. I got some friends who they're really good on the internet.
Some sleuths, some internet detectives, dude. Well, I don't know.
Oh man. So
dude. There's really nowhere to go except to bed, dude. They stumped us, dude. Like we're all on a runway, bro.
Yeah,
we're you know what, Jordan, we're just gonna have to see what happens here in the next week and really just like be amazed that like, wow, like they really turned up the heat, didn't they?
it's interesting. There's this book, King Kill 33. This is one of the original. This is James Shelby Downard. He's like the original researcher of
the OG, dude.
The OG. So
Jesus Christ was the original researcher, man. That dude was flipping money tables in the temple, yo.
For real though, you got a point there, though, Hamish. For real.
That dude was coming at him hard, dude. Like that dude didn't stay at home either. He was on the road.
Well, it was interesting because I turned to this page here. It says John Kennedy's chair in reference to those two 19th century Houston personages. So, you know, and what's his name? Dude is from Houston, right?
Yeah.
So there's a really huge Masonic presence in Houston, like probably more so than mostly anywhere else in the US.
No, Houston's interesting because everyone's getting called. Houston has been on like there's like a gravitational field sucking people towards Houston. I've noticed Houston.
Yeah, I mean it's the Shriners, and I think Houston is a very important location.
Sure. Well, you look at you know what, like there's a book and it's all about Galveston. So most people don't know this, right? So Galveston's right there next to Houston, right? So Galveston got wiped off the map in the first recorded like super choreographed hurricane that started the National Weather Service and the whole thing. And Galveston got wiped off the map, right? Well, Galveston, when it got wiped off the map, was like the Paris of the West Coast. And Galveston was slated to become like this metropolis international hub of the West. And then this hurricane came in and wiped it off the map. So that area down there in Houston, Galveston is very potent, I will say, about what it is. And let's not forget who's got a mega church in Houston. Who's mega church?
Is it what's his name? The what's his name? The guy he's like on Oprah and stuff.
Joel Osteen, I believe his I believe his headquarters is in Houston.
Well, obviously you have the the Houston Astros, which I mean, is that what the whole thing was named after? Was like sort of
I think that's the,
or is it NASA? Is there like some space thing here?
Yeah, there's space stuff down there.
Is there a NASA in Houston? I guess there is, right? The Johnson Space Center. Oh, the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center, of all things. And he was a piece of work. It was founded in November 1st. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's very
What was CERN doing on November 5th? They always run public programs on certain dates.
CERN. Everyone's forgotten about CERN. I was pulling up earlier on the thing, and we never got to it. It was the Goddard Gate ceremony.
Oh
dude.
yeah. It looked exactly like what was going on at Travis Scott's.
Yeah. The Goddard Gate ceremony was.
That's what I thought of when I saw it.
What was you pulling up CERN?
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I'm just curious, but it's November 8th. They're gonna do the piece spin glass model and fragmentation. You know what that is? They've always got some weird endeavor, but that's tomorrow. Very
We're out here. I think out here is the 7-year anniversary of the shooting at the club out here, 3-year anniversary, and also it's on the 10th. The 8th is the 3-year anniversary of the Woolsey fire.
When was the Pulse nightclub one? Oh, that was June 12th.
Yeah.
When was the that Las Vegas thing? That was in 2017, right?
Let's see, dude.
October 1st. Yeah. Stephen Paddock.
Wait. Here I think I got something here, dude. Just on CERN here. What was that? Oh, April 1st. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm worn out, man.
I'm worn out too.
All right, bro. Good
This was
work.
fun though. Thank you.
Yeah. Just bouncing it around. I don't know.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's all good, dude.
I gotta spend probably the rest of the night just looking for promo codes.
You should, dude.
On Little Nas's website. I really like his music now, and then gonna really start following his stuff, and Travis Scott and all these guys.
Dude, promo code is KRIS66.
Thank you. Have a good night, brother.
All right, peace.